Horror Deconstruction.
Three, two,
two,
1.
one.
Okay.
Go.
What's up, everybody? It's the Hard Deconstruction. You can find us at hardeconstruction.tumblr.com, youtube.com/hardeconstruction, as well as facebook.com/thehardeconstruction with your host, Comp, and
Larry Crawford.
and today's film is
Leprechaun Origins.
Leprechaun Origins is a 2014 film. It's about two young couples backpacking through the Ireland, discover that one of Ireland's most famous legends is a terrifying reality. Who wrote this? Zach Lipofsky.
I think the director wrote it.
This movie's blown my mind, okay? That's why I can't even read straight. Zach Lipofsky. Written by Harris Wilkinson. Starring Stephanie Bennett. Is it Bennett or Bennett? Whatever.
You know that new Ebola thing? I really hope that it targets them.
The actors? I don't think I felt bad for the actors.
No.
You mean the writer and the director?
Specifically, not even the director, the writer.
And no, the director. Well, yeah, the director wasn't. Well, whatever. We'll get to it.
The director was working with a shit sandwich.
Andrew Dunbar, Melissa Roxburgh. There's also Brendan Fletcher, who you might remember from Freddy vs. Jason, and Gary Chalk, he's one of those guys.
Who was he in Freddy vs. Jason?
I think he was the brother of one of the main characters. All I remember is him being a brother of somebody in that film, and then he gets killed. He has like a weird kind of balding haircut kind of look to him. He kind of looks like white trash in every movie he's in. There's also Gary Chalk. He plays the Irish guy Hamish. I've seen him in a bunch of stuff. I guess I saw him in The Killing, but I didn't recognize him. He must have had like a regular American accent in that film. Sorry to offend the Irish.
Right.
Yeah, so this is the much-lauded remake / reimagining / reboot of the Leprechaun Origins that does not star...
Warwick Davis,
right?
Yeah.
And Warwick. It was so funny because I was looking.
Which when you told me about this, and I heard I read that he's not in it, I immediately was thinking, wow, this is gonna really truly suck. Not just suck in a funny way, but suck.
I mean, yeah, this movie's terrible. I mean, I expected it to be terrible, but I mean, it's bad. It's real bad. Like, I don't know why. There's no reason to call it Leprechaun Origins because.
There's no reason to... It has nothing to do with the original series. I mean, fine, it's a leprechaun, I suppose.
And can you tell me what...
it's in Ireland.
What is the origins about this film that makes it different than any other explanation of what he does in the other films? Like, what is it...
What makes no sense is that if this is supposed to be, like, a prequel...
Right, it's...
Like, how does he go from this, like, howling gorilla thing into Warwick Davis with zingy one-liners? Like, how does that happen? Where's that transition?
And it's obviously taking place in modern times, right? And
right.
Well, let me tell you what they do in the other Leprechaun films,
Apparently
right? Okay,
more than one. I don't know.
The other Leprechaun films, they'll take a piece of gold from Warwick Davis. Then he goes nuts and he tries to kill them. In this movie, they take a gold away from a monster and then he tries to kill him. That's the origin? Oh, okay, I see. That's the origin of the movie. It's the same fucking plot. There's the same plot, and then they just say, oh, no. Because you know why? Because he's a monster in this version. He's like a physical monster that's taller than what he usually is.
And they have to sacrifice things to him.
Yeah, and one of the big reasons why this film was sold, because it was produced by WWE Films, which is the wrestling company run by Vince McMahon.
Have they done anything besides this?
Yeah, they've done actually a couple of films. Like what did they produce? They produced a couple of. I think John Cena was in a movie. I don't think I've seen any WWE movies. I think I'm lucky enough not to see those.
If this is what I've seen so far, based on that label, I'm gonna have to kind of go in a little doubtful.
I believe there was a John Cena movie called The Marine. Or something like that, and then there was a Ted DiBiase Jr. movie called The Marine Part 2, and there was a Hunter Triple H. You remember? Do you know any of these people? Any of these people that I'm listing off?
The new wrestlers? No, I don't.
There's Triple H. You gotta know who Triple H was. He's that big
Hunter Hearst. I know
Helmsley.
Old school wrestlers and The Rock, and that's
so
about
Triple
it.
H was in a movie called The Bus Driver or some bullshit. They're trying to make like a comedy movie, like I guess like a Vin Diesel sort of babysitter slash
like Hulk Hogan, where he was Oh, what was that one where he was like an alien?
Oh,
and
the Space Rapist.
With Martin.
Yeah, it was that one. That was Space Rapist.
The Space Rapist.
That's when
yeah.
he raped everybody.
He comes down from the sky and shoots dildos.
He's like, "Look here, brother. I'm gonna take you against your will." That's what he does in that movie.
No, what is that one called actually? Hulk Hogan is like an alien.
I think I might have actually liked that one. I forgot what that was called.
I liked it too.
Yeah,
it was great. And then there was like the babysitter one where he was like dressed in a tutu.
Yeah, Mr. No, whatever. I know he was in a movie. I think he was in a movie called Santa with Muscles.
Oh,
I'm not kidding. But anyway, no, that
sounds like a porn.
Wasn't it called like Bionic something Commando, Space Commando?
Oh, Bionic Commando. No,
yeah, and actually the Undertaker was in that film too, as a thug, a space thug. Anyway, so yeah, WWE is trying to rebrand its films because it is wildly popular. It is watched by millions of people. They had to tone down their raunchiness because during the late '90s, early 2000s, they really had like raunchy stuff on their show. Like, but people, you're watching shows with these guys in their spandex shorts and girls with their like tits.
Didn't a guy die and that kind of killed the whole thing?
Yes.
No pun intended.
A couple of them died, but I think
Suburban Commando.
That's right. You're talking about oh god.
No, somebody fell off a. They were supposed to fall
Right. That
from
was
the ceiling,
Owen Hart.
Owen
Hart. Was it Owen Hart or was it something Hart?
Okay. But I actually know that name.
It was Owen Hart. Yeah, Owen Hart was as the blue something, whatever. He was in character, and he was supposed to be. He had a cable on his back, and he was supposed to descend from the sky, the rafters, and he fell.
Mm-hmm.
He fell on his feet, and I guess that broke his spine or something. It killed him, and he died in front of hundreds of thousands of people. And his brother Bret Hart was the Bret the Hitman Hart, the wrestler.
Yeah, I know that.
And so that I don't know. I don't think it stopped it or anything.
But I feel like after that, like I stopped hearing about wrestling.
Maybe you just were so heartbroken that you just couldn't watch it anymore. That's what it was because it was still raunchy a while after that. But then I think what happened with the raunchiness, I think we're getting into wrestling, which I don't watch, but I know a bit because I used to watch a little bit back then against my will, sort of. I think Vince McMahon, who owns the company, his wife was running for, I believe, some sort of like governorship, or she was running for some sort of seat wherever their state was. So they kind of toned down all the, the Triple X kind of raunchy stuff
for her political campaign.
She literally spent, I think, either $100 million or 100,000. I think it was 100 million campaigning, and she lost anyway. Because
is this is Vince whatever the $1 Million Man or
something?
No,
that was Ted DiBiase. Okay, let's get back to Leprechaun Origins. So anyway,
okay,
WWE.
Back to this. I just don't want to talk about the movie. That's really
this is the first time where you're doing it now. But WWE has done that. They also did it with, I think, Kane, who is the brother of the Undertaker on the show, of the wrestling show. And Kane is this big, tall, bald guy, and he actually had a pretty cool gimmick where he was dressed up in his red suit. He looked like somebody out of Slipknot. And he was in a movie called See No Evil or something like that. And I remember just seeing the trailer for that, and I had a friend who saw it and said it was a big pile of shit. And watching this, I guess he's right, because it kind of seems like the same kind of direction. From the trailer alone,
right?
They used a lot of...
How would you describe this direction? What would you call it?
I think what it is, misdirection. Because I think it's a whole movie that...
direction.
No, this movie is kind of like a magic trick where they're trying to keep your eyes off the really obviously cheap shit to dazzle you with visual effects. Because in that other movie, See No Evil, that had Kane in it, they would have all these flashy and crazy kind of camera movements, which happens a lot in this film. Like, the camera will slow down and have this slow motion effect looking at rats in a corner, even though the rats have nothing to do with the film. I guess they're just trying to show you that there's rats in the movie. And in this film,
rats are scary.
And in this film, the makeup effects is so cheap that you never see the monster in focus. It's always the camera's like shaking, like Michael J. Fox was fucking holding the camera. It's terrible. It's terrible. The monster literally is Baraka from Mortal Kombat. That's what he looks like. The Leprechaun.
Don't diss Baraka.
No, well, it's Barack
Him
Obama.
And his hot sister, Katana or whatever.
It was Barack Obama chasing them in the woods. But although now, if I say anything about how it looked like, anyway. Anyways, but the monster was okay. So the Leprechaun film. How does it start out, Danny, with this movie?
There's like a rock or some weird thing in the middle of a field, and there's people running.
It reminded me of that other film. What was that other film that we saw that was like? Remember, it was like a statue of a demon in the middle of the woods.
The Shrine.
The Shrine. No, it is the Shrine. Yeah, that was
the Shrine. This Shrine. Yeah.
There were elements of that movie to me.
Well, that's actually a good.
Yeah,
movie,
I like that
though.
movie. That movie felt like.
They made the best of a very low
Right,
budget.
that's what I'm
really
thinking. I'm thinking both of these movies had the same amount of the budget. I hope they had the same amount of budget because this is pretty bad. But it seems like the Shrine actually went somewhere with its storytelling.
The Shrine was great.
And there were two things that I liked about this film. Only two things, like shimmering gold and a piece of dog shit. And I'll get to them. I did like the cult aspect, although there was no real cult in this film. But anyway,
it's
this
just
movie,
a small town keeping a secret.
right? But the small town consists of 3 people. Anyway, so Leprechaun Origin,
an old lady, an old man, and his son.
Leprechaun Origin starts out with this couple running away. I can't even tell what Ireland really looks like because it looked like the jungles of Panama to me, whatever trees they had over there. So this couple, this guy and this girl are running, and then they're getting attacked by this creature off screen, which is dragging them, and it bites off the boyfriend's finger and slashes his face. And, oh, that's so frightening. And the girl gets attacked as well, and then it cuts to the Irish countryside. And I mean, it's Leprechaun, right? I mean, why are they waiting?
I guess.
Yeah, well, true. Yeah, that's debatable. Why are they waiting to show the Leprechaun when we know this is a Leprechaun film? It's kind of like, remember with the...
Well, because it's the origin. If you watched it in order, you would be like, what is this? And then you would go on to watch Leprechaun in Space.
Oof. But wow, did they really know how to bookend these pieces of shits?
To think that he went from these humble origins to Las Vegas.
I know, he's really gone, far with his life.
I mean, I was reading on the Wikipedia. I didn't even get this from the movie. Maybe it's just my brain shut off, but apparently there's more than one or something. Like after that one dies, there's another one.
There's another Leprechaun.
I just assumed it was the same one. Yeah. That's on the Wikipedia.
Oh, whoever wrote that Wikipedia should be arrested for even,
the writer of
anybody.
the movie probably had to throw that in.
I literally saw when I was looking through the IMDb earlier, I couldn't find. I know there was somebody's review. I wish I had written the guy's name down, but the tagline of the review, or like the big header of the review, is like, "This movie can cause cancer." And it's on IMDb somewhere. I'll laugh when I read that, but anyway, so the film takes place in the Irish countryside. There are 4 Americans kind of backpacking through Ireland, and they're at the last day of their vacation, or whatever, I guess it is a vacation. It is, who the name of the 4 is Sophie, Ben, Jenny, and David. And Sophie is the other girlfriend, right? The girlfriend of David, I guess, and Ben and Jenny.
Isn't she the main girl, Sophie?
Is it because the IMDb? It seems like one has blonde hair now, but no, Melissa Roxburgh is, I believe, Jenny, who is the main girl. I could be wrong.
I don't know. I couldn't even.
They're kind of interchangeable, the girls. And well, anyway, the main, you can tell the main girl, her aspirations is to be kind of a historian and go into history of all these countries and shit like that. She's there with her boyfriend.
Yeah, she's the only likable character. Well, I kind of liked David too, the guy, more trashy guy.
Her boyfriend Ben is kind of like
dick.
It was kind of disturbing how much he looked like a friend of mine, an actor friend of mine. Then I would think
he reminds me for some reason of like some pretentious guy who listens to Modest Mouse or something. No offense to people that like Modest Mouse.
He should have actually had a
Mouse,
handlebar mustache. Then it would have made sense if they were all like hipsters running around.
Right. Hey, don't insult those handlebar mustaches.
Yeah.
They didn't create
it.
But
he looked so much like a friend that was disturbing to me that I was like, what would my friend act in this movie? Because then I actually felt bad for the actors, like towards. There's a scene where all 4 characters are tied up to trees and they have to be frightened of this guy in a horrible costume. And and the directors,
a midget in a horrible costume.
The directors had so much editing with that one sequence with it was so much blurriness and the monster fading in and out of the frame that it looks like somebody was having it was like epileptic vision. That's how it looked.
Well, apparently the guy that Ben is in Battlestar Galactica Razor movie, which is like this little side movie.
Okay.
And I don't remember what part he played because it's been a long time since I've seen that, but maybe he actually is a good actor when he's not in this movie. I don't know.
I didn't think he was a bad actor in this film. I just felt bad for all four of them because then I was like, because as an actor, it's hard to get work as it is because you kind of have to. It's kind of like me and Danny are artists, and we understand how hard it is to get work as artists. Oh, it's almost impossible. Yeah. So as an actor, when you actually get casted for something, and then you have to be in this, where you have to like fight off an albino monkey and then look scared. I mean, it's unfathomable. I mean, it's really bad. So anyway, these four are trying to, they're just trying to spend their last day, and they end up at this bar. It's very American Werewolf in London, where people. Although I thought they would be more harsh towards them, the people, but the guy Gary Chalk, who plays Hamish, he tells them, "Oh, if you want to check out this area, it's over there," and I'm like, "Oh fuck." He's like, "I know these caves you can look at, and you can see all this bullshit about the oldest ruins or whatever, the origins of."
Go on an 8-hour hike. Really, it's all that Jenny or
it's her fault. Yeah, she's an asshole.
It's her fault. Yeah.
It's the origins of the Celts.
She's selfish. She wants to make all her friends go do that. I would be having a panic attack if someone told me I had to go do that.
Her boyfriend's like a weirdo or something. Because obviously she's very pretty and she seems like a nice girl, except for making choices that ends up getting you killed. But
right,
like they end up at this house after the Irish guy Hamish convinces them to check it out, but they got to stay at an inn. And after I'm sure not to scare them off, shoots at a creature in the middle of the fucking grass with sawed-off shotguns and stuff like that. Yeah, wild boar. So they get in there, and she's trying to get it on with her boyfriend, obviously. And he's like, he's not.
He's a good-looking guy.
Huh?
He's a good-looking guy.
Yeah, I understand. I'm not. That's not the point I'm trying to make. I don't know where you're coming from with that. But he's not interested in her, like, sleeping with her, and I guess he's not interested. He's not interested. There's something come out with Danny. I tell you that. He's not interested in her moving to or stopping going to the college that she's supposed to go to move with him. So obviously he's not as interested in her as she is in him. And that
her vagina's just not doing it for him
guess
anymore.
Not.
Maybe she had a yeast infection.
He needed,
and he saw it, and he's traumatized.
I thought like there was going to be some kind of plot where he was banging the other girl, but I guess not. I guess they just kind of left him being uninterested in his own girlfriend. Like if you're uninterested,
they probably the writer, the person writing this,
he's an asshole.
Probably had heard once in a class in college about character development, and like only went to the one lecture, and then like cut out the rest of the class.
And he played Candy Crush halfway through the lecture and shit. And
right, and he missed the part about like how to actually do it. He just heard the concept of it, but missed the part how to actually do it. Yeah. And so he thought, let me give my hand at this. Yeah, so, I happen to know someone that works for WWE. So okay, cool.
So there's no real explanation on why he's not interested. Like then if you're watching, it's like, why would he even choose to go on a whole vacation with her if he's not interested in her? Like, you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Maybe he realized during the vacation he's not interested in her.
He's like, God, my girlfriend's a bitch, and that's it. It's just.
Well, this is a guy who left his.
Yeah, he has obviously he has committing issues with people because he leaves his best friend. I don't even know how they're friends. I guess I don't know because. David seems like an alright guy. He doesn't seem as obnoxious as he would. He's semi-obnoxious, but he's not obnoxious where you're like, oh, fuck that guy. Because he...
No, I like him, actually.
Because he was the only...
comes off obnoxious, but he's not.
He's the first one that kind of gets attacked and gets, I guess, a chunk of his leg ripped off, which reminds me of when I was reading the... what was that? The Dark Tower. When a lobster bites a piece
Alex
of a
started
guy's...
reading... Alex started reading Dark Tower.
See, now I'm making references to Dark Tower in this show. But he was there.
Make a lot more.
And there's a part where they're running away from the creature who looks like an albino monkey. Apparently, what it is that the whole gist is that you can tell from the beginning is that these Irish people are letting these 4 Americans get eaten up by the creature to, I guess, placate it for them taking the gold, and it doesn't seem like those people were living the high life on any fucking gold. You know what I mean? It is.
Yeah, why don't they just fucking leave?
Yeah, I mean, cause
there's like 3 people in the town.
Hamish was like, you can't leave your hometown or something like that. He's like, you can't leave your hometown. He's like, why not? There's a monster there. Why would I want to stay where there's a fucking monster where I'm living? I'd leave.
Yeah, right. But, I mean, I left my hometown and there wasn't a monster killing people. Like,
you hate your neighbors. I can imagine if there was a monster living and you would have left even before it like even came to be. You would just been like, I just don't like this
I would have heard the rumor. I would have heard the mere mention of it and I would have left.
You'd been leaving before. It's like, I have to take the train. I'm out of here. You know what I mean? So the whole thing is that these people are in on it, and you know what's weird is that those Irish people, right? Why did they come back midnight, like in the middle of the night, to check that the monster had eaten the people? Like, if they didn't come back, that monster obviously would have ate those people anyway. So why would you come back in the middle of the night to check if he ate on them? I mean, what's
it seems dangerous, really.
Yeah, what's the logic? Like, what's going on in this movie? It's dumb. This movie's bad. And there's that old lady who was a barmaid, and obviously she comes off nice. She sees them halfway. She drives them up right back to the place where they get attacked again by the monsters. Nothing happens to her.
I only like one character, 2 characters. I like David, and is that his name? David, the other friend, and I like the son of Hamish, or however you say it.
Yeah, what is his name? I think his name is it Teach Grant? I think it's Teach Grant. Yeah, Teach Grant. He had the very convincing Irish accent. He goes, "What do you want to kill a girl? Duh." When he would say "duh."
Yeah.
He kept reminding me of like Mike Myers doing like the impersonation of a Scottish person, though.
Oh, like Fat Bastard.
Oh yeah, that, or like I married an axe murderer kind of stuff. But and then there's, I mean, the son of Hamish. His name is Sean. He's very reluctant to kind of to have these people killed. But then how many times do they have to feed this leprechaun monster? Because
no, he just says his name is Teach. Oh, Sean.
Teach.
Yeah, you're right.
Because there's no obvious timeline between when they killed that first couple and then this group. Because how many times do Americans run by to Ireland? Because it's the summertime, I guess.
To a random little town.
Yeah, right.
Some random bar.
I mean, well, anyway, they got the reluctant son who doesn't want to do it, and obviously every character gets picked off one by one. The David gets killed first, and then I will say, like, I did say there were 2 pieces of jewelry in this film, and the one where they killed Jenny. Sophie, when they hit her in the face with the axe by mistake. That was a good. That's me giving the okay sign. You know when you curl your thumb and your pointer finger with the 3 fingers up. That was me going okay, because that.
Yeah, I like that part.
That perked me up. I was like, whoa. I was like, okay. But then it went back to shit.
That's pretty scary. I was imagining for a split second, I actually was like, wow, if I did that to like my best friend or something, accidentally,
Yeah, you might start. I think you might start rubbing your penis. That's what it is.
I did have a little wet spot on the inside of my pants.
That was good. The unintentional death is always good for a horror film because in real life stuff like that happens. The only time where I see unintentional death, because it's like
I've killed a few people, but always intentionally. I've never.
Always in films, it seems like the protagonist can never kill anybody that has nothing to do with the film because there's always the morality issue. I think, what movie did I see? I think it was called The Replacement Killers. It was like Marky Mark and. Oh God, who's not Jet Li? The other guy, the other Asian guy that tried to make it big in America. He was in the Hard Boiled. No, not him. He was in Hard Boiled. He was in the King and I remake.
We seem so
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Anyway, that guy, whatever, Bulletproof Monk, whoever that guy was. And there's a scene where all these cars are driving, and it might not have been the good guy's car, but a bad guy car hits a pedestrian and kills him, and I was like, wow, I never saw that in a movie where, there's in car chase movies, like, no pedestrians that are regular people ever get hit by cars.
Yeah, and if they hit a carriage,
it's like the luckiest day for everybody in those films. Like, in real life, somebody can slip on a banana peel and fall off a fucking roof. That's how horrible life is, because it just happens. But in
Yun Fat?
Yeah, Chow Yun Fat. That's what his name in America is. But in this film, they actually a protagonist actually kills another protagonist by mistake, and it's always refreshing to see that in a film. And it was like the main protagonist killing her, not like the other character. I've seen that maybe in some other films, and it's always strange to see that because you're like, whoa, I didn't expect them to actually have the balls to do something like that. And it's one of
They should do that in Disney films.
And it's the most it's the most graphic death in the film. It's like very much like Chucky, which I was gonna make up.
That's where the whole budget went.
That axe in the face, very digital axe in the face thing.
Right.
But it's very like graphic, and it reminded me of the Killing Child's Play, the newest one that came out, the reboot one, reboot sequel.
Uh-huh.
And that's another thing I was thinking about. Was like the whole point of them making an origin film, like they try to make it all scary and dark, and they try to do that with. I mean, this is a Leprechaun, but in the Child's Play remake, it's Chucky, but they still made it interesting with the part where the poisoned soup and stuff like that. And you're just watching these people get killed.
Yeah, that movie wasn't that bad.
Yeah, it was an interesting film. Okay. It was okay. And the whole reason that they were selling this Leprechaun film as a WWE film because it stars. A guy named Dylan Hornswoggle Portal or something like Podal, and he's a wrestler in WWE, or he's somebody that tries to wrestle. He's a midget. Well, I'm sorry, that's a little person. Excuse me. And I guess he's there for comedic reasons, and I guess he does wrestle. I don't think I've ever seen a match of his, but he does look very small, and he looks about the size of Warwick Davis. But when the movie finished. And I literally didn't see him because in one of the posters, his face is on the poster, like Hornswoggle, the actor.
That was just how they were promoting it.
Right.
To the idiots.
So I was like, literally, when I saw the movie finish and the credits come up, like it finishes very undramatically with a girl running away from a monster sound effect. That's how it ends, and it cuts us to black. And I was watching it, I was like, don't tell me I watched the wrong Leprechaun movie. Like if there was another Leprechaun film that I have to sit through a Hornswoggle until I saw his name in the credits, and it said Hornswoggle as a Leprechaun. I was like, there's no fucking way that because he's like 3 feet tall, and he played. Obviously it's a man in a giant suit, like
right.
Because that monster, and obviously you can make the limbs larger, and it's a person in a creature suit.
I mean, are you really trying to understand? Are you really trying to understand?
I'm trying to figure out how, why would you hire a 3-foot actor to be an obviously physical
They had
actor?
a 3-foot actor wearing, like, stilts and arm extensions.
Right, because in the new Ninja Turtles movie, you didn't see the new Ninja Turtles movie, right?
I don't want to see it.
They actually had, do you remember Seinfeld? You ever watched Seinfeld ever?
Yeah, I don't.
Do you remember Kramer's friend, the little person, the guy Mickey?
Yeah,
he played
He's also in Elf, I think.
He played the physical, the model, the capture model for Splinter in the film. Although, like, anybody could play Splinter, you know what I mean? Because it's a capture model.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is he gonna do? He doesn't know karate. If Mickey knows karate in real life, then I'll be surprised. So anyway, like
is
with
he
this,
the same one from Elf? Whatever, it doesn't matter.
So I don't think he was enough. No, that was the Lannister guy from.
No.
Yes, that was
Really?
That was the Lannister from Game of Thrones. What's his face?
Yeah,
Tywin.
I know who you mean.
Not Tywin. Was it Tywin or
no,
Tyrion?
Tyrion. Come on.
But anyway, this Leprechaun Origins, they bullshit sold this to people that the Hornswoggle was in this movie because. You don't see his face. You see somebody's...
If you watch it in reverse, it's actually a wrestling match.
But, listen, this movie was so bad. I mean, it's not technically bad. It's about the same level as when you see the Michael Bay produced sort of... It's shot really well.
This is how I feel about the movie. If this was not called The Leprechaun...
Yeah, you could have called it anything.
Or if it was something about a leprechaun but not connected in any way to what we know as the Leprechaun... or it was like, instead of making him a leprechaun that wants gold, make it like a demon that wants gold, or I don't know, whatever. Like, it would probably be a better movie for that. But not a good movie, but like an okay movie. But the fact that they're connecting this to the glory that is Warwick Davis.
And Warwick Davis wanted to be a part of the movie at all, and I was like, they didn't put him in this movie? Like, why not? Like, is it that, like...
Yeah, he probably loves doing this
Of course,
shit.
Because that's...
Could you imagine? I would love to be
The Leprechaun movies are the main, things that he's known for in America, at least besides Willow, I guess. And, he gets to play, ham it up as a bad guy. He's also in this I think he's in another show called The Short of It or something like that. Like, Ricky Gervais produced it.
Hey, he's in a ton of shit. So like,
he was in
fine.
Star Wars, and he's probably he was in the Harry Potter movies.
Yeah, he was
too.
in a Doctor Who episode.
But
I
this
believe.
film has that sort of slick-looking Michael Bay, look to it. But it's not. It's too cheap to kind of deal with it. If you look at the monster,
well, they all, with the cameras nowadays.
I tell you this, Danny. This movie was so like I was watching it, rolling my eyes. Like I'm gonna tell you something that's grotesque. But I saw a video like on one of those like horror websites of a guy who was like, those Matador matches where they release bulls around in pens and stuff, and then people jump in. I literally saw a video because I saw it as a GIF at first, and then I saw the video of this guy. He was fucking with the bull, and I guess he fell on the floor. The bull put his horn through like the side of his cheek. But not through the side of his cheek. It literally went into the side of his cheek and out the top of his nose, and it started dragging him. And then then the weight of his body snapped his face off, so his face turned into it looked like an exploding flower.
Oh, Jesus!
I'd rather watch that a bunch more times than this movie. Dan, you guys see that footage?
Real?
Yeah.
No,
Danny,
I'm not going to watch it.
I mean, literally, it's the worst thing I've ever seen happen to somebody's face, and that was better than this.
I'm not gonna. There is absolutely no chance in hell that I'll ever
I'm gonna
watch
send
it.
that
You
to
send
you.
it to me secretly.
I'm gonna sneak that to you in some way. Anybody email? Everybody email Danny if you can. Anyway.
Don't say
this
it.
movie is it's not very good and it's not very imaginative. It's any film and then they tapped the Leprechaun title to it because it has no spirit of any of the original Leprechaun films. It's trying to be all ultra serious and dark, and there's nothing. The gore happens, but it's only rarely because a lot of people get killed half off screen.
Yeah, and there's no humor at all.
One guy gets
one
guy gets his spine ripped out from the back, and it looks horribly cheap. And then they reuse a line from the first one, so people can be like, "Oh yeah, oh man," because the girl she kills the leprechaun by decapitating it, and she says "fuck you, Lucky Charms," which doesn't make any sense in this context. Where in the first one, it's a little kid who shoots a clover into its mouth. While saying that, when it was cool, like that part was cool because it's a little kid saying it, and then shooting him in the mouth. But in this, it has no context because you're like, oh, they just do that because this. I bet you this was a script for something else, and then they
that's a common thing in movies where you always say like "fuck you" or whatever you say right before you kill the guy.
Yeah.
And another movie that we're gonna review soon does the exact opposite of that, and I thought it was pretty funny.
Anyway. So yeah, with that, I'll give this movie. I wouldn't give it a horribly low rating, except for the axe in the face, so that gets a good rating. I'll give this a 2 out of 47. Saying to your duh, you want to kill a girl, duh.
Okay, I'm gonna give it 2 out of 47. I'm gonna give this a 3 out of 1,607.
Yikes!
No, I give it a
that's
too harsh. I'll give it a 3 out of 106.
What a piece of shit!
3 out of 106. I can't even. There's not even a memorable 3 out of 106. Girl leaving her boyfriend to die. And then later getting what she deserves when she has her tongue ring ripped out because apparently there's gold on a tongue ring.
Yeah, what the... I don't even want to talk anymore. Danny, what's the final word?
Told.
The horror deconstruction.